Stress is a choice. Do you buy that? Some people have a hard time with the idea. They think it's people and the event in our lives. The stress is out of management, colleagues, customer, the boss, traffic, weather, and market conditions. But isn't it true? Yes, bad things happen. The economy suffers, our business struggles, the stock market tumbles, jobs are lost, people around us don't follow through deadlines. Our missed products fail, good people leave life good people leave. Life is full of these, but still, stress is a choice. Because whatever the trigger event, we will always choose our own response. We choose to react angrily. We choose to stuff our emotions and keep quiet. We choose to worry. One client had signed his desk and said, I have many problems, some of which came true. A woman emailed me right after I spoke in the FedEx conference in Toronto, stated she didn't agree at all and would give herself 1 month to gather evidence. The stress comes from external source. 30 days later, I received an email back from her saying, I admit I failed to prove you wrong. I do create my own tension. I am now asking for more QBQs to take care of my stress problems. The truth is, different people have different reactions to the same situation. Stress is a choice. Stress is also a result of our choices. When we choose to ask a question like, why is this happening to me? We feel as if we have no control. This leads us to a victim mindset, which is extremely stressful, even in cases where we actually are victims and our feelings seem justified. Why me? Thinking only it adds to our stress. Chapter 7. Why do we have to go all this change? When Stacy was 12 years old, she and her father, as a pilot, take off on Sunday afternoon, joyride in the single engine, Cessna not long into the flight and about a mile over the Lake Michigan. The joy of her father's daughter adventure came to abrupt. The engine quit. Stacy's father turned to her in a reassuring tone, said, Honey, the engine has quit. I'm going to need to fly the plane directly. Interesting phrase. Fly the plane differently, sorry. Her father understood the new challenges and changing conditions, often requiring different strategies, conditions, change, market change, people change. What works one day in a given situation does not necessarily work the next day. In fact, organization expectational. The reality is, if the strategy is tactic is working now, the odds are high that it won't work in the future. There's just too much change taking place in the world for it to be another way. So we need to help our repertory of responses to be prepared when our engine unexpectedly quits. In order to restart the engine, they needed more airspeed. Stacy's father told her he would be hitting switches in the cockpit while he steered the plane downward towards the deep, cold waters of Lake Michigan. I thought as she told me the story, Stacy understood the sentence gravity of the situation, quickly nodded her approval of Dad's plan. This did not go off the headquarters for commit decision, a term that always strikes me as an oxymoron. Her father put the plane into a dive and fiddled with the switches, but nothing happened. He leveled a closer to the water. Stacy, we're going to the right to try it again, he said. Hang on. They dove a second time. He hit the switches again, so the plane gained speed, and this time the engine fired. First, with just a few hopeful sputters, he finally, with a secure, familiar hum, but about 27 minutes later, they landed safely at the point this rock of Gibraltar kind of guy, this fearless father, this man of courage, turned into his 12-year-old daughter. Loving patted her shoulder and said, "Now, honey, whatever you do, don't tell Mom." I love this story, not just for the drama and the humor, but for what it says about handling change. When faced with a new situation, Stacy's dad took the action and solved the problem. But if he had resisted change, instead of his spent time whining and complaining, having thoughts like I've never done it, like I never done it this way before, or asking IQs such as, why do we have to go through all this?